I'll tell you what, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound phenomenal. Vanessa's here.
Hi,
Um,
Vanessa.
I did.
and I tell you, that's why the people get paid the big bucks because there are people behind the scenes doing all this technical work for your show, for other really good professional shows that make things run smoothly. I can't pay my daughters to come down here and do that. I don't know what they're watching on Netflix, but it seems like something goes wrong every single time. Every time. And it's annoying.
No, we go through it too.
Yeah.
We go through it on our show too.
It's frustrating. Yeah, like recently you guys I think it might have been on the weekend. It might have been on the weekend or the Friday show with Mark. I don't know if you guys knew this, but on the serious side of things, like there was just no audio. It was nothing. And then it plays technical difficulty or whatever, and then it comes back like I don't think you guys had any idea that the feed was actually gone.
No, I mean, unless it was on a Saturday,
It
I don't know anything
yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Um yeah, it doesn't I mean it doesn't matter. It's just anyways. Welcome Dave. Thanks for giving us this time tonight. Welcome to Put You Over. Um it's an honor to have you on again and we couldn't have you on at a better time because you made a big announcement yesterday. You announced and you waited the entire show. You kept me waiting the entire show for your announcement. Um that you have your own YouTube channel now with your brother, LaGreca TV.
Yeah, it's actually surreal. I'm really proud of it. I don't even know exactly what it's gonna be yet. But my brother and I, both of us have been in radio for decades, but
Mm-hmm.
yet we've never really worked together. So we thought with this pandemic, now was the time to use this time wisely, and that's what we're doing. And yeah, I would hope that everyone that's listening would go to YouTube and check it out. It's a LaGreca Show,
Right.
and it gives both my brother and I a chance to kind of expand a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not really going to talk sports, and I'm not going to talk wrestling. And I'm sure that those worlds will bleed in at some point, but it's kind of our way to, talk some movies, talk some music.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Who's older? You or Don?
My brother
Your
by
bro-
three
by
years.
3 years. Oh, yeah, that's me and my younger brothers are 3 years too. So I definitely so that's gonna make for a good show because there's a lot of arguing back and forth. Um, how so you said you and Don have talked about this before. How long have you been thinking of doing this?
No, it was, we started talking about it during this pandemic.
Yeah.
I actually been pushing because I don't really have a presence on YouTube.
Right.
So I figured, like, I know for myself, I'm on YouTube all the time,
Right.
especially now during this pandemic. I just find myself in these YouTube, rabbit
Vortex.
holes.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a,
was like,
yeah.
man, we should take advantage of this. So that's what we're doing, and I'm hoping it works out. I don't know. This is something different, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'd be fun.
Well, I think it's so funny because I you've been on this show before for a long we talked wrestling and all this stuff and it was kind of at the start of the pandemic, all maybe right before it. And you had no idea. Like you didn't know Skype, you didn't know anything. No offense. But
No, I remember, like, you're like, it's on Skype, and
yeah.
I've never had Skype.
Yeah.
So, like, I was like trying to download it, and I couldn't figure it out, and
Yeah.
all this mess. But now like
Yeah.
Zoom's like my best
Yeah,
friend
exactly.
because I do the show every day on Zoom, and then, like, I talk to my friends,
Yeah.
on Zoom.
Yeah.
So we do just like you and I are doing.
Yeah.
I have a couple daddy sodas, kick back, and just hang out on Zoom all
Exactly.
day.
It's just it's so funny how you've come. It's a I guess it's a the silver lining, a blessing in this crazy world. You talked about the LaGreca show on LaGreca TV on YouTube. Oh great, my commands aren't working. Um, w- will the show and I guess a lot of these answers are going to be up in the air. But will the show be taped? Um, will it be live? Will there be a combination of both?
I mean, for right now, we're going to tape it, but we're going to tape it. We're going to try to tape it like within 24 hours, but I don't think it's really going to matter. We're going to try to be consistent. So starting December 7th is when our first episode drops. And then we're going to put out an episode every week. And here's the thing, Don and I are going to, do this show, but we're also going to throw other videos on. Like my brother has, his hockey podcast that he does that he's going to throw on there. I'll throw some stuff on there too. So like, it's a LaGreca Show is going to be like the big thing on there, but we're going to try to throw other things on there as well, just to keep people entertained, and we'll see where it goes.
I heard from the first pilot show, you're not actually a fan of hockey. Is that true?
Yeah, I actually, let me rephrase that. I was never a fan of hockey until I actually worked for the NHL. I actually got a job with the NHL, and I wasn't even a hockey fan. And then working that close with the players and the organizations and that, hardcore fan base, it's hard not to fall in love with hockey. But that was always a joke between my brother and I. He was a diehard hockey fan, and I hated hockey. And I was a diehard wrestling fan, and he hated wrestling.
That's funny. Who do you enjoy? The Devils? You guys are in New Jersey, the Devils?
Well, it's funny because my brother grew up a Devils fan, obviously because we're from Jersey, but he works for the Rangers now.
Yeah,
he does play-by-play for the Rangers and does their pre and post. So he's obviously a big Rangers fan now. And I was a huge Devils fan going back to like the Danico days and things like that. But man, I'll be honest with you, pro wrestling consumes my life.
Yeah.
I watch it every night. It's really hard to keep up with things on, sports on the outside of that.
I think this show, and correct me if I'm wrong for speaking out of turn, but I think this show is going to be a breath of fresh air for somebody like yourself. Like you said, wrestling consumes your entire day, and now you're going to at least have a show where you can focus. I mean, you can have that whole conversation you had with Bully today on Rocky, and all, that whole thing. You and your brother could go through movies or go through music or anything, and I think that's going to give you another outlet and not feel so consumed. Not like that's a bad thing, but I think it's going to be a good thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea because, Bully and I or Mark and I can get off track. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But we got to get it back on track.
Yes.
The fans that listen to Busted Open, they like it when we mess around and joke around, but, they want to hear wrestling talk. They don't want us to get too far off. So we always kind of got to go back. That's Ed's job as our producer and Gabby to get us back on track. But, in this show, there's no getting back on track. We can completely get off the rails and have a fun time doing it.
Now, I know Eddie Trunk was helping you guys with that first show. Is he going to be sitting alongside all of the shows?
No, that was just like a teaser for our show. Eddie Trunk's a fan, and obviously he's the voice of metal.
Yeah.
He's been that way for the last couple of decades. So we thought he'd be the perfect person to kind of interview us about this show. And we winged it. We didn't put a lot of we didn't do a lot of prep work for that. We just kind of let Eddie go, and we kind of, and you already see the dynamic. My brother is talking and talking and talking, and my eyes are getting heavier, eyelids are getting heavier and heavier. So I had to jump in there from time to time to kind of liven things up a little bit,
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna have like a raise your hand system, or are you just gonna hopefully be able to jump in here and there?
Well, I mean, at first it's gonna be just the two of us. We'll have guests, there's no doubt.
That's how it's going. Yeah.
Like you can already tell, Vanessa, like we have different personalities, like, and also too, I've gotten a lot of comments from people who watch this. They're like, boy, man, you're a little bit, when you're with your brother, you're a little more snarky.
Yeah.
When you're with your brother. Like Bully said today, he's like, man, you're a full-blown heel on that thing. So I think my personality is going to be a little bit different than what you get on Busted Open.
I think that's one of the things that makes you so relatable. that comes through on Busted Open. We're gonna relate with you on this show. I can't even imagine doing a show with my younger brothers, who are 3 years younger, and they're twins, and it would just be a debacle because you are different with your family, and there are different styles, different contrasts, like you said, and there's just some sort of relationship. There's a back and forth that does make for good content in this case, which is what you and Don are hoping to accomplish.
Yeah, and he knows where their bodies are buried, right? You know, he knows me better than anybody. So, and I know him better than anyone. So I think that's a really cool dynamic. Plus, you know, there, as much as we have things in common, like metal and stuff, we have probably more things that we don't agree on, that we butt heads on. So that's what, you know, and I'm known for my rants. He's known for his rants. So that could be like, you know, that could definitely be a situation that we run into from time to time.
And I'm glad as I get another Daddy Soda. Speaking of Daddy Sodas, you could get your Daddy Soda t-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees on their Black Friday sale.
That's right, Black Friday, 20% off. So if there was ever a time to buy a LaGreca shirt, now's the time to do it. It's the perfect formal wear for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And also it's a perfect Christmas gift for all your friends and family. And just to throw it out there, Cameo, $25. Undertaker's charging $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm only charging $25. So I can do the eye roll, I can do the handcuff, I can do all the things the Undertaker does on Cameo, and you know, for $975 less.
That's right. I was gonna bring
Steal.
that. That is a steal. I was gonna Black Friday deal. I was gonna bring that up with the rants. People are saying there will be rants on the show. I personally myself, I love football. I love fantasy football, FanDuel, that type of stuff. Am I gonna be able to? I want to make bets on how many rants per show there are gonna be. Is there gonna be? Can you give me a number, an over/under number where I can start putting my money?
Per show or
per show?
First show. I would think it's going to be a low number for the first show because it's the feeling out process. But then when we start getting into depends on the topic, because we're going to have lists, we're going to have topics to go back and forth on. So, I mean, I don't even remember. Did I even have a rant in this 20-minute teaser that we did? I don't even think I had a rant. A couple mini rants maybe, but I don't think I had a full-blown rant. So
percolating rants.
Yeah, it'll get there. Believe me, it'll get there.
You said you and your brother disagree or butt heads on a lot of topics. What are some of those topics that you guys don't agree on?
I think some of the silly stuff, like, you know, sports, and you know, because I'm a big Cowboy fan.
Okay.
And my brother's a Giant fan. So right there.
Two high-class teams this year,
Yep. I mean, you know, you got two teams that suck, but yet are fighting for, you know, the first place in the division. Like I said, the wrestling thing, like that gets under my skin. You know, music. I mean, pretty much there's a lot of things that you won't know maybe even till the moment.
Right.
We could do a top 5 list, and then something that I didn't even know that we would disagree on, we wind up disagreeing on. So it's going to be natural. Nothing's going to be forced.
Perfect.
Nothing's going to be contrived. It's going to be right off, all natural off the top of our heads.
Did he like ridicule you for being a wrestling fan growing up?
Oh, back in the day?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Like, I think now, seeing that I've been able to make a career out of it, he doesn't really say anything. Right. And as you get older, you don't really say anything, you know, outright or, you know, at least to your face.
Yeah.
But back in the day, oh, yeah. There was a big fight we got into. And I remember the date because it was my birthday. It was July 15th, 1984. Him and I got into a huge fight because for my birthday, my parents bought me tickets to wrestling at the Meadowlands. And Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper was the big match. I was a big Snuka fan. This was it.
Yep.
That same night was the USFL championship game. So he wanted to watch the game. Parents taking me to wrestling. They forced my brother to go. We had a huge fight because of that. And listen, here it is, 2020. USFL's been dead for 45 years, whatever it's been.
Yeah. Yep.
35 years. Crazy. So he lost, I won.
You did win. Bama
I'm a
Dave. What's that?
I'm a winner standing streamer.
You are a winner.
I'm a winner.
You are a winner. You're standing tall at the end. Last man standing is you.
That's right. Sole survivor, as they said on Sunday.
Sole survivor.
Sole survivor.
Oh man. Bama Dave, who not only can call in every day but also chat on Twitch every day, says, would you ever shoot these episodes in the same room together? 6 feet apart, that type of gimmick.
I mean, yeah, why not? I think we could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have like the camera situated in a way. I mean, but it's easier now with Zoom. What's the difference? You got a great video guy that's working on this. So, it's going to be like we're in the same room. But I hope at some point, somewhere down the road, if this is successful and it goes on, once this pandemic's over, you know what? Maybe we could do it in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
Why not?
Be nice. I'd like to do anything in front of a live crowd right now.
Man, I miss it. Woo.
Yeah, I had a lot of cool concerts, some festivals planned this past summer, even in September.
What concerts?
I was going to see Pearl Jam twice, once in Baltimore and then once in, oh gosh, I don't remember, somewhere else. And then I was going to this festival where they were also playing. I'm a big Pearl Jam fan, so.
Yeah, that sucks. I was I mentioned this on Busted Open, but Snake Sabo from Skid Row, they were doing like a whole festival show that was touring around with them and Rat and Cinderella, like a bunch of those 80s hard rock bands, and they wanted me to introduce them every night. So they said, as many shows as you want to go to, you could travel around. So I was gonna have like a mini vacation where I kind of traveled around with those guys and introduced them every night, and there you go.
Like you guys were talking about today, you got stuck in that vortex watching the concert footage. I think you said you were talking about. It's interesting now, like the mindset I get, like when I watch something like that and I see the crowds like going insane, whether it's wrestling, whether it's sports, whether it's concerts. It's just like hard to fathom now. It's like, wow, we're coming up on a year here soon. It's insane.
It's crazy. Like
I don't miss the crowds personally. Like everyone's sitting beside you and all up in your business.
Vanessa, I'm like completely opposite. I love like a lot of people. I love like that big party atmosphere where I miss that terribly. Like I missed, like we had big plans for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And things like that. So, but like you just mentioned, going back to that conversation that we had on the show today, man, like it's hard for me to watch it. It's really hard for me to go back and watch wrestling from, past like the last 9 months and see a crowd there. I can't. And then watch wrestling that the way it is right now. It's such a disconnect for me. So I'm like really kind of focused on what's going on right now,
Before I get, I want to touch one more thing, a couple more things on your show, and then I just want to talk to you a little bit about wrestling. Some points I had wrestling in Busted Open, but as far as the LaGreca Show goes and LaGreca TV, one, and I know the answer to these because it just got off the ground, but are you going to get a custom link? Because I was trying to get a nice command in the chat so people could find it, and it's got a lot of different letters at the end of youtube.com. Are we going to get a custom link that says LaGreca TV or something?
Yeah, I mean, that we're hoping, like, again, we're just in the early stages. If you go to the channel, there's not even like a picture or graphic.
That's the other thing.
I mean,
you get a logo or
like,
what?
Yeah, this is just like a little teaser. And then, once we get closer to the premiere of the real episode, the first episode, hopefully we'll have a lot of that stuff. But yeah, man, whatever suggestions we're open for anything. Like you said, chats, interaction,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's there's a lot there you can do, especially on YouTube. You got, because it's easy to browse. Everything is discoverable all the time. It's just there, and it does have a good live aspect. I think it's gonna be great, and that's the LaGreca TV, the LaGreca Show. Look it up. The link's right there. Click it. Give them subscribe. Give their first little trailer a like so it gets pushed to everybody else. Bama Dave says once you get 100 subscribers, you can get a custom link. I'm sure they got some elves somewhere already working on that right now. You put Abigail to work.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta do something, right? I mean, it's ridiculous,
I know. Tell me about it. I'm living with 4 of them here, and they just
it's crazy now with no school. Like she was doing like splitting with school and home, and now it's totally
it's all home.
Starting next week, it's totally all from home.
Yeah, I got a feeling that's where we're going to. But it's weird. It's like when she started, my oldest daughter did the split thing too, 2 on, 2 off. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But when they're in school, their day ends at like 1:30. Like it's so much earlier.
It's like a half a day.
It's like a half a day. I'm like, how much are they paying? And I feel like I can laugh and joke about this because my job used to be in the school system. So I'm like, oh, what are they paying these people? Good grief. Half a day. Oh, anyway.
I feel bad for the teachers, though. It must be really hard to teach under these circumstances.
It's insane, Dave. My job, I had to step away from my job because I have 3 kids and I have to homeschool 2 of them. So I had to step away. But I worked in the school system with children with special needs, and I went in and I covered a few days when my wife had the day off. I went in and helped out again, and it was nearly impossible for me to do what I needed to do in these circumstances. And it was weird because I wore the mask, and I never knew how much my facial expressions I used during the day with these kids with autism. Like my facial expression told a lot. Like, hey, you just got this correct. You just did a great job. Look at the smile on my face. And they can't see that, and it makes it so hard. So
I imagine.
Yeah, much love to all them. But I did want to touch a little bit on Busted Open and wrestling. So I'm just going to go right down my little bullet points here and see where it gets us, and then we'll let you get out of here. Busted Open Radio, we got the Thanksgiving holiday coming up. What's on tap for Busted Open? You guys are going to be off, right? You'll be off a week?
Yeah, but Tommy and I last night just taped the show that's going to air on Friday, which is on Starcade. You know, those early Starcades that were held on Thanksgiving night, Starcades 83 to 87.
Yeah.
Tommy and I taped the show that's going to air Friday.
Nice.
We just did it. And we have Greg the Hammer Valentine on to talk about that dog collar match with him and Piper. So I'm really proud of that show. And on Thanksgiving, we're going to combine all our Undertaker specials.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was like the top 10 moments of the Undertaker, and then when Mark and I had the Undertaker on and Michelle McCool on, and it was great. I mean, Undertaker gave us 30 minutes, so we put that into a special, and that's going to air on Thanksgiving morning.
Excellent. Is there any chance? So you guys, tomorrow's what, Wednesday? Yeah, so you guys will be live tomorrow.
Yeah. And a really cool show tomorrow.
You and Tommy, what's the topic? What's the theme?
And we want the nation to get involved. So if any members of the nation are listening, I want you to definitely call in. So me and Tommy are going to give and Gabby and Ed are going to give the 5 wrestlers we would invite to Thanksgiving dinner. And then 5 wrestlers you wouldn't invite to Thanksgiving dinner. And then we want the nation to pick 3 they would and 3 they wouldn't. So we definitely need involvement from the nation tomorrow.
I'm sure Bama Dave will be on that. I'm sure he's writing his list down right now. I'm not inviting that guy that threw the cake. What was it? Cake in the face of Kevin Owens. I'm not inviting him. He's just he just ruins everything.
Who would you give me one? Give me one wrestler you would invite and one wrestler you wouldn't invite.
One wrestler I would invite is James Storm. We could definitely have some daddy sodas while we watch some football. So I feel that would be good to have him there. One person I would not invite, the gobbledygooker. I don't want him gobbling around
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Embarrassing.
It was good. It was good to see him have his final farewell at Survivor Series as well. Good for him.
He'll be back.
Yeah, probably win the.
They never stay retired. They never stay retired.
Will the Undertaker stay retired?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna say yeah. 55. I mean,
yeah.
You know, this pandemic, like, who knows when this is all gonna wrap up? Like, do you really want to see a 59-year-old Undertaker walking down the entrance ramp at WrestleMania?
No, I don't. And he's also said, he's not very fond of the cinematic shows. So
yeah.
Although the one with AJ was great, I think everything that we saw, it would tarnish it, in my opinion.
And I like the cinematic match with Taker and AJ.
Yeah.
But I don't go back and watch it. Like, it's not something
Right.
I go back and watch. You know, it was great in the moment, and I think Bully said it right. That in the moment, this is great. Everybody's doing their best, but I can't find myself, 5-10 years down the road, like going back and watching these shows and watching these matches. Like, it just lacks so much without a crowd present.
I can see that, and I can see where he's coming from that angle, but I think that's something we're going to have to tackle 5 to 10 years from now, because the way we feel 5 to 10 years from now, where we are after all this is done, hopefully we may be like, wow, look what wrestling was bringing us content wise. It never shut down when the world shut down, and wrestling kept going for people like me, people like you, people like Vanessa. It gave us an hour, 2, 3 if it's Raw, to forget and take our minds elsewhere. And I think
it's a good point, because I know for like myself, I love like the studio wrestling.
Yeah.
And I remember my friends at that. How can you watch that? Like, it looks so cheesy. But you go back and watch it, like, it's the nostalgia and all that stuff. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's going to be like almost like a badge of honor that you go back and watch that and say, wow, look how we were able to get through this pandemic because wrestling was always there. It's a really good point.
Yeah, I just think it's tough to make the judgments now on what we're watching, because in 5 to 10 years from now, who knows? I don't know. But enough of that COVID stuff. Do you think Busted Open can bring back Getting Yourself Over Mondays?
Yeah, that's something we're planning on doing. I think once we get past the holidays, we really would like to do that again. It's something we really enjoyed, but it's crazy. Like, we came up with all these segments and stuff because at the beginning there wasn't a lot going on.
Yep.
So we had, but man, wrestling's never been busier. Like, it's really not only just back. It's like, it's crazy, and it's really hard to get this. Even like my power rankings, there's been times where I haven't even been able to do my power rankings because there's so much going on right now.
Well, Ring of Honor's back. MLW just started. NWA just announced they got a new show called Shockwave. That's gonna start December 1st. I mean, I can definitely see that you guys got, your segments are filled up now. But from the nation, I know that we enjoyed Getting Yourself Over Monday. And there's still a ton of independent wrestlers that basically can't get any work out there to get their name out. So
look to Canada. Look to Canada.
Yeah.
Lots that can't work up here.
There you go.
We will definitely, Vanessa, I may need your help on that, but we definitely would like to start that up again.
For sure.
You guys talked about, and I'm gonna get you out of here. Don't worry, Dave. You guys talked about getting invested in wrestling and stories, and it just made me start to think. You talked about how Asuka, I think it might have been Bully, said, Asuka was, think of her in NXT and when she first came up, and now look at her, like they're watering her down, and the same with Keith Lee. But then we have NXT and SmackDown, who hit home runs almost every night. It seems to me that this is done purposely. Bury what you see on Raw to make NXT and SmackDown look good, even when the wrestlers switch brands. Like, okay, now they're doing what we wanted them to do. My question is, could this be the case? Could Raw do this? And if so, why? Just because they can? And then the third thing is, am I just entering handsy territory in this? I mean, is Raw purposely being bad so the others look good?
I mean, I can't believe that would be the case or that would be true.
Right.
But at the same time, what you said is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Like the last couple weeks, like the Raw's been okay. It's been good. Like I've been able to watch it. I've been entertained. But there was weeks there that it was just really awful.
Yeah.
Like really, really bad. But NXT great and SmackDown great. So it's like, and then you hear that's the same writing team for both SmackDown and Raw. How is that possible? Like, how can they get it so right on Friday and then so wrong on Monday? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I almost feel like they don't put effort into Monday Night Raw. Like it's like they don't really think before they put pen to paper and come up with some of these storylines. It racks my brain. So to answer your question, I don't believe it. I don't think that's the case, but I can understand you thinking that because there's got to be some kind of logical reason why they do what they do.
I think as you were talking about it, I think that might be like the conspiracy aspect. And I love Hansi, man. He's does enjoy wrestling and has some good points at times. But maybe it's more like Raw takes everything Raw. They use Raw as they're testing all the stories, all the angles, seeing what works. It's like a sandbox. They're testing everything. As soon as something catches and clicks, the Mysterio Rollins angle, they pull it, throw it on SmackDown. That might be more of the case. So they're not doing it purposely, but they're trying to fish out what works best and then move. That's what it feels like to me. I don't know.
I know everybody always says though, like Vince McMahon has nothing to do with NXT.
Yeah.
And he's involved in SmackDown, but not the way that he is involved on Monday Night Raw. Like Monday Night Raw, they said his hands are all over that show.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Now that's not, I don't know that to be a fact.
Yeah.
That's only hearsay, but just throwing that out there is maybe some kind of an explanation.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough to see sometimes. And I barely get through that third hour of Raw. But that has a lot to do with my age and how tired I am. But whatever. It is what it is, I guess. I guess we'll deal with it. Like Bully says, we're all programmed. We're all programmed to put it on the USA network. It's the only reason I still watch SVU is I throw it on the network early, or USA early. All right, Dave. Last question. Can I finally put up my Christmas decorations?
Yes. Here at the LaGreca household, we started putting the decorations up this last weekend. Now listen, that's not saying that I wanted to do that. It's more about Violetta, my wife, wanting to do that. Yeah. I think you should wait till after Thanksgiving. The weekend after Thanksgiving is the weekend that you should do it. That's and again, I fight with my wife when it comes to Christmas, man.
Yeah.
I always opened up the gifts Christmas morning.
Yes, that's right.
He grew up with opening them on Christmas Eve.
All of
Christmas
them?
Eve night. All of them, man. It would be one. You'd open up one on Christmas Eve night, And then that's what normal people do.
Yes, it is what normal people
She
do.
does it Christmas. It's bullshit. I'm excuse my language,
That's okay.
but it's it ain't right. But you know what? Happy wife, happy life. Let's open up the gifts Christmas Eve night.
That's right.
Whatever.
And if you are going to open up one gift on Christmas Eve, let it be a Dave LaGreca shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Please.
I'm a Dave LaGreca guy, Daddy Soda, Lackafunza, the Bear. Will the Bear be on the show?
I don't know. Like the bear, like the bear shirt's like my least, like the nation's least favorite shirt.
No,
I can't get anybody to buy that damn bear shirt.
Well,
I thought that was going to be a big hit with the nation. I think I've sold 2. People love the Daddy Soda shirt, man.
Daddy Soda
I know you
shirt.
got one.
Yeah, I do.
They love the Daddy Soda shirt. Bear, not so much.
I don't know if I told you this story the last time you were on. This will be the final thing, and then we'll let you get out of here. I don't know if I told you this story last time. I was on vacation at I want to say it was either Ocean City, Maryland, or it was Myrtle Beach. And I was out on the boardwalk, and I had my I'm a Dave LaGreca guy shirt on, one of the original ones, before Pro Wrestling Days. I had it on. I'm walking around, and a guy goes, he pointed it out. He points to me, and he goes, "Oh man, great shirt! I love LaGreca. I love Busted Open." And it was just, I think I took a picture that day. I think I tweeted it out. I couldn't believe that I was out somewhere. Somebody else noticed my LaGreca shirt. And was just like, "Hey, man, I enjoy that same thing you do." And I don't think I told you that story last time. Maybe I did, but it was cool, man.
No, you didn't. I appreciate it, babe. You know that the show has gotten as popular as it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, until the pandemic hit, those LaGreca heads in the audience, man, it's. Where is your LaGreca head, by the way? I see Babchek's head, but I don't see the LaGreca head.
It's right there.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Much bigger than Babchek.
Yeah, where do you see Babchek's? Right here? Yeah, that loser.
What's going on with that clown?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. He texts me probably every single day, tells me something is stupid. No, not stupid kids. His kids are great. Something his kids have done to drive him nuts. I'm trying to get some Cremo beard advice from him. But Babchek is a dear friend. And I don't know. He's got his Babchek, his morning after pill or morning after show or whatever it's called. Him and Evan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. He's got his kids involved in that. He's still doing Morning Men with Evan. Evan, who you saved his life, still around kicking. So he's doing good. He's fine.
Yeah, please tell him I said hello. I miss him because I used to see him every day in the office, and we used to talk every day. And you know, obviously, March 12th was the last time I was there at SiriusXM. So I haven't seen anybody since then.
Yeah. Usually I text him when I'm gonna have you on or someone, and I didn't get a chance to text him tonight, but I'll send him a text in the morning, and you know, tell him you miss him. And
let him know I was asking about him, please.
I will. Yeah, I texted him a while ago to see. I said, "Are you guys getting McAfee on Morning Men?" He's like, "Oh man, we're trying. We can't. We're trying." I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Talk to Dave or someone." But yeah, McAfee's doing great shit too, man. It's awesome.
Dude, his show is killer. I'm so glad that he's on right after us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I do too. I wake up. I catch a little bit of Babchek, being moronic in the morning. I switch right over to Busted Open, go right to 12, Pat McAfee, and just go with my day right there, man. It's great, man. It all works out.
Awesome.
All right, Dave, I'm gonna let you go. It's any final words, anything you would like to put over? The microphone is yours, sir.
Well, no, as always, thank you for having me on. Yep. Vanessa too. Vanessa did a great job getting in touch with me to have me come on the show, and I just appreciate you giving me the time to promote the show and the shirts and the cameo and all that stuff. It means a lot, and as always, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. All right, we'll hear you tomorrow. Have a great Thanksgiving, and and we'll see you around, man. Thanks for coming by.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you.
Later.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Vanessa.
All right, let me switch the angles. Oh, Dave's still here. Dave, you know what I forgot to ask though?
What?
We're still live, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But Vanessa, you wanted to thank Dave personally for something, right?
Oh yeah. So when you did that Halloween special with Tommy and you had Tim from the Darkness Radio,
Yes.
that is my new favorite podcast.
It's
I
awesome.
I listened to it on like loop all day after like I do Busted Open, and then I flip to that, and that's like my cleaning music. Oh, it's my jam, and I'm glad you introduced me to it.
No, I met them on the Jericho cruise because they did their show on the cruise. So I was actually, we did like a meet and greet, and they were sitting right next to us at the meet and greet. So I got to talking to them, and then we just wound up hanging like the whole weekend. Those guys were great, and Tim's he's salt of the earth guy. And I did do that alien thing when they were trying to summon those alien ships. Like I did that, man. And I'm telling you right now, like I was not a believer, completely not a believer. But we're out there. It's late at night. It was complete darkness, and just seeing those lights come out of it was freaky. It reminded me of that War of the Worlds. That
Yeah.
when they're coming out of the water.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Freaked me out.
Oh, I could tell you some stories that would freak you out. Like I got some stories.
How about those stories Tommy was talking about on
Oh
the show?
yeah.
Vanessa told me we had to have Tommy on just to tell those stories, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
I told him one day he was talking, so at the end of the bar, so on his screen, I saw like an orb fly through, and so I told him, and like ever since then he's like freaked out.
Yeah.
Telling you.
All right. Get out of here, Dave. I forgot to ask.
All right, yeah, you got, I know you got a show to do. I'll leave you alone. Goodbye, guys.
Bye, Dave. Thanks
Bye,
for coming
Dave.
by.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let me switch the things because my little Stream Deck switcher thing doesn't work anymore.